Madame Allen had uncovered their relationship. But even with this revelation, what still remains a mystery is Monsieur Christiansen's involvement with the theft.
What do you need? What can
I will not...
You're just full of questions, aren't you? Own? You don't just own an animal detective. He's part of our family.
Pardon.
Enoch. And I ask you the question, what's he?
Purely curiosity, madame. Enough. And it was your husband.
It means faithful in Nor...
You have been...
Aha.
The pigment of this paint is brighter than it.
Meaning?
We have found our second.
Aha.
Poirot, the door. What are you doing in?
Monsieur Christiansen, welcome home.
This doesn't look good, does it?
We have much to discuss.
So Mr. Christiansen had an opportunity and a motive, but he continues to deny killing her.
And still 2 forgeries remain.
I knew it.
Pardon, monsieur?
I knew that's why she stayed so friendly with her. Irene always said she was besotted, that she could get her to do whatever she wanted.
Perhaps you should elaborate on the identity of her.
The curator. Evelyn, what's her name? She could spot a forgery at 20 yards. What better person to show you the ropes so you can make your own?
If the board of trustees at the museum got wind of this, Miss Warbeck's career would be finished.
And in her own words, if anyone was to jeopardize her career,
she wouldn't be held responsible for her actions.
it seems Monsieur Christiansen may not be the only person tied to Mademoiselle Court Smythe who has a secret to hide. Madame Hélène has confirmed the surprise appearance of her husband during the intermission of her show. Monsieur Hastings, there is something troubling you?
If I may speak freely.
You do not have to ask my permission.
This is all very overwhelming. We seem to be taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back.
I can understand your confusion, but you cannot allow it to consume you and your emotions to take charge.
Easier said than done. I just...
Oui, monsieur?
Must you be so hard on her?
I presume you refer to Mademoiselle Farquhar.
You talk about emotions not taking charge.
She is a suspect in a murder investigation, not a guest at afternoon tea. If Mademoiselle Farquhar is more important than discovering the truth and finding justice,
I would have thought you would know better of me by now. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with how you spoke to her.
when it is your investigation, you will have the authority to conduct your questioning how you see fit. Until then, I will continue in a manner that has and continues to bring criminals to justice.
And I'll just keep my opinions to myself.
Let us focus on the case. What do we know about Mademoiselle Warbeck's relationship with the deceased?
Mr. Christiansen suggested she had romantic feelings towards Irene, but she was just another of her pawns.
She cleaned the master key to hide Mademoiselle Court Smythe's actions, but perhaps she then became worried about her own involvement.
You think she could have killed her to stop the truth coming out to the trustees?
Which would in turn ruin her career. It is certainly a possibility. Your Grace.
Detective Poirot, good morning. Can I assume there is still a murderer loose on the streets?
London is a very large city. I would fathom a guess that there is more than one, as I have not had.
Your confidence I'm meeting the young Russian girl here. God teaches us to forgive and love thy neighbor. Sometimes that can be more challenging than expected.
Has she offended you personally?
Using the museum for her sordid meetings with those uncouth men, I'd say so.
She doesn't strike me as someone that would be called.
And what sort?
Well,
Exactly. If you don't know, it would be wise to remain quiet until you're spoken. I walked in on them in the restoration. I opened the door and...
You are not aware of what they were meeting?
Do you need to wash your ears out? I just told you what they were up to. And I could see she had the financial books out. And when she saw me...
Merci.
Go on, then. You make it sound as though it is I that...
Forgive me,
If you cannot even understand what...
That is perhaps a matter best discussed at a later time.
There is no need to...
Your Grace.
A lesson for another time. Let's just say that...
Merci.
Go on, then.
Merci.
Huh.
Mademoiselle Warbeck, if you have a moment.
I'm actually rather busy. Is there any chance you could come back later?
I would have thought recovering your...
I'm sorry. It's just been... Is it necessary?
You do not wish to impede my...
No, but...
It is important that...
that is quite all right.
Honorable?
I get the sense you...
butting heads.
We, butting heads.
It would be easier to say what we do agree on. I don't know what he has against me. I didn't like one of his suggestions for an exhibition, and since then he's made it pretty clear he wants me gone. Usually after an exhibition, the art...
But on this occasion...
I still have every intention of going ahead with the exhibit that includes... I'm still the curator of this museum.
I recall Mademoiselle Court Smythe referred to the exhibit as hers. A level of arrogance.
You have been most...
Huh. Oh. Ah. Mm-hmm.
Come, my little The evidence suggests something. Something just.
Aha. Aha. Hmm. Ah. Huh. Hmm. Oh.
Go right ahead.
You have been most...
Go on, then.
Merci.
Hmm. Oh. Huh. Hmm. Huh. Aha.
Come now. Think on what has... Where is the sense in that? The evidence suggests something. What a revelation! Things are beginning to become clearer. Bishop Mountjoy was quite adamant Mademoiselle Warbeck's meeting was something untoward. Although I believe to have a young woman undermine him in front of the other trustees. He allows his personal feelings to accentuate his cynical side, instead of allowing facts and evidence to show the truth, as one. Mademoiselle Warbeck was doing nothing detrimental to the museum. In fact, quite the opposite with her attempt to modernize it. Like...
Go right ahead, Detective. I wonder who you've been talking to.
Not in so many...
I was meeting with artists for a new exhibition. He has no idea what he is talking about when it comes... He can't see the future.
As well as the uncouth gentle...
Uncouth? And I wouldn't show Horace the finances because it has nothing to do with him. Well, considering he didn't want her work anywhere near the museum, then the next thing I heard was that he had commissioned her to do some pieces for his church. I didn't know anything about it until Irene told me.
Do you know what he had commissioned her to paint?
No idea, I'm afraid. She was sworn to secrecy.
You have been...
Go on, then. You'll have to...
The paintings produced by Mademoiselle Courtsmith's brush.
Oh, yes. Well, I thought it was necessary.
You couldn't just use her other...
I suppose I could have. It is not as though I kept it anyway.
Merci, Your...
Go on, then.
Merci.
Aha. Oh. Oh. Ah. Huh. Ah. Oh. Huh. Oh. Ah. Huh. Huh. Ah. Aha. Oh. Aha. I must act on thought. Is there something I am not seeing? I must take a different approach if I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. Order and method. Where is the sense? I cannot see the logic in this. Another success. Magnifique.
It appears that the good bishop has been replacing the church's original artworks
with fakes painted by Mademoiselle Court Smythe. He commissioned her to make these forgeries so that no one would notice when the...
Disappearing where, though?
Why else? Mademoiselle Babagna appears to have been right about the bishop's connection to the black market. Now, Hastings, we must ask ourselves, where might Bishop Mountjoy be hiding? We must gain access to the space behind the confession.
Huh. Aha. Oh. Ah. Huh. Mm-hmm. Aha.
why don't you have a look first?
Do not tell me you are afraid of the dark.
Not the dark, just... Poirot, where are we?
If I am not mistaken, this is part of the secret tunnels that were built hundreds of years ago to sneak those that did not agree with the powers of the country out.
And why exactly are we in here?
The why must never be obvious. That is the whole point.
Right.
Oh. Ah. Huh.
We have our third forgery. There is evidence of a much more modern painting on the back of the canvas.
Thank goodness. Don't know how I would explain finding the original in such a state.
Bishop Mountjoy must have discovered the painting that he received from Mademoiselle Courtsmythe was one of her forgeries.
And lashed out. Now it makes sense. He's been using this room to store his own private art collection.
What I find most unfortunate
Is that not only does he deprive the world of beauty and joy from seeing these works, but he also keeps them in such dark and dank conditions, the old fool. He's even having to light his candle clock to keep from drifting off down here. Such a waste, don't you think, Poirot?
One's opinions are now worth listening to.
I was only voicing my...
You have thoughts beside those of Mademoiselle Farquhar?
Really, Poirot? You still think so
When one exclaims such regard for a suspect in a murder investigation, it is...
You may not be so accustomed to the idea of showing, or at least having, some form of empathy for our fellow man.
There is a difference between empathy and lust.
And there is a difference between commenting and being rude and obnoxious.
I was not expecting Monsieur Hastings to be so sensitive on...
What was that? Oh, just the bishop's candle clock. I don't know about you, but I've had enough of this place. Let's get out. What are you doing, Poirot?
S'il vous plaît, un moment.
The bishop's candle clock has forced me to question everything of the murder scene that I previously thought I knew.
We must return to Mademoiselle Courtsmythe's apartment.
Perhaps that is a job best left for you.
Oh. Huh. Oh. Aha. Aha. Hmm. Oh. Ah. Hmm. Huh. Hmm. Oh.
Et maintenant,
Oh.
I believe myself to be the greatest detective in the most prestigious police force in the world. But I have been duped and swindled. And now I stand here alone. Monsieur Hastings was quick to make his excuses to retire to his abode and not return to the scene of the crime by my side. I hope there is not something further that troubles him. Sacré. I have spent my time staring into the sun. A murderer remains free. But the truth of the fire eludes. I cannot believe I allowed myself to fall for such a deceptive move. Now though I have the upper hand. The killer believes that I have extinguished all avenues of my questioning. I wish Monsieur Hastings were here. I know of his want for the same as I. The truth. Now more than ever do I need my little grey cells working at full capacity. Monsieur Demire and Mademoiselle Babagna. I am glad to say that they both still have alibis. I can be sure that neither was involved. Mademoiselle Farquhar. She claims that she was in the dark. Her alibi stands. Monsieur Christiansen, one of my key suspects. But Madame Hélène can substantiate his trip, which leads us to the good Madame Hélène. A side note, I must make an effort. The Honorable Bishop Mountjoy, Mademoiselle Warbeck and he were together. Her innocence has already been confirmed. Last but certainly not least, and the article in the newspaper documenting his... And where are we left now? But when one looks most innocent, that is when Detective Poirot is most suspicious.